Today, I'm going to tell you some stories on war, dating, and blitzscaling companies. Um, some of these stories I would have read, some of these stories I would have experienced. So let's go on this journey together and let's see if there are common themes around it. So the first story goes way back, 506 before Christ. There were two kingdoms named Wu and Chu in China who were at war. Chu was expected to win this battle because its army was 10 times the size of Wu, just as Wu was led by a commander named Sun Tzu, the same Sun Tzu who later wrote The Art of War. In Art of War, Sun Tzu says, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will not be defeated in 100 battles. So let's see how Sun Tzu applied in this battle, right? When he was faced by an opponent which was 10 times its size. First thing that he did was that he attacked Chu, which was led by a commander named Nangwa. Now, why would you do that? For two things. A, it surprises the enemy. And B, and more importantly, these were not a head-on attack. A head-on attack would have been stupid, even suicidal. These were what we call in warfare as flank attacks. Um, Imagine them as guerrilla attacks, more to understand the strength and weakness of the opponent's army. Uh, how will these people actually operate in a real battle, right? During these flank attacks, Sun Tzu also came to know about Nangwa himself, that he was temperamental and can be easily frustrated. Once he had this information about Nangwa and his army, that is when he actually launched a real battle. And I won't even call that as a battle. It was a poetic sequence of maneuvers which actually led to encircling and defeat of Nangwa. And a military star was born, Sun Tzu. The essence is knowing your enemy is really critical. Let's see how this applies in India, right? We Indians have our own set of scriptures which discuss about war in detail. Um, it would have been difficult to defeat Bhishma Pitama unless you knew about Shikhandi. It would have been impossible to defeat Dronacharya unless you knew about Ashwathama and that you have to leverage the fake news of Ashwathama's death. Even Lord Ram had to avoid fighting Bali head on because it would have been impossible to beat him like that. And the information that Vibhishan provided was critical in defeating Ravan. The essence is you need to know about the enemy if you want to beat a formidable opponent, right? Now let's see whether the same thing happens in dating also. It is important to know the person in front of you if you really want to have success in this arena. You can go with stereotypes, right? Men want that and women want that, but that won't really take you far, my friend. You have to understand the person in front of the table. And if you plan well, and you should plan well, it will first of all help you get the other person in front of the table itself, right? Now, let me discuss another story on blitzscaling businesses, right? I joined Paytm in 2014. We were a young company looking to acquire users at scale and as minimum cost as possible. We all want to do that, right? Even in 2014, it was written on the walls of Paytm that we will bring 500 million Indians to digital economy. I'm not sure whether we had 500 million Indians online during those days, but we had those aspirations. So when you have such high aspirations and very tight budget, we used to have tight budget during those times, you have to be innovative. There is no other option. So we started thinking who else has this kind of user base. We figured that all these FMCG companies like Coke, Pepsi, Maggie, Parle-G, all these people have this kind of mass base, right? You, me, everyone is a customer. We investigated further and we realized that most of these companies run regular consumer promos, like buy a Pepsi and get a chance to go to Paris, or buy something and get a mug, right? And there were problems inherently in these promos. Uh, with sweepstake promo, where somebody get a lucky prize, customer believe that they are not lucky enough to get it, so the participation is extremely low. And with mug, etc., you don't know whether the customer got it or someone else got it, right? So we thought, okay, let's go to these brand managers with a win-win proposition, that buy a Pepsi or a Coke and get rupees 10 Paytm cashback. The customer would be happy, they get rupees 10 gratification. We would be happy as we will get new users, and the brand should be happy, right? The customers are being gratified and we are funding that gratification, rupees 10 per customer, right? Sounded like win-win to us. We started pitching it to brand managers, and the response was lukewarm. I was surprised. What? Why are they not getting it? Well, like, what exactly is their worldview? Um, and instead of thinking that why are not they not getting it, I thought, let me understand their perspective. I decided to be friends with them. I decided to be friends with them. And that meant spending time with them, not just on this deal, on other topics, also discussing it. After spending some time, I realized that what I see as win-win, they see as risk. Paytm was still a new company. Uh, what if things go wrong? Um, who gets the blame? And that was the moment. And that was the moment I realized that if I have to make this work, if I have to get this deal work, I have to ensure that I make it a no-brainer for the person in front of me. For the person in front of me. See, deals, joint ventures, partnerships, they happen between companies, but they're executed by people like you and me. And people like you and me have fears, have aspirations, and have needs, right? You have to address the person who is executing those kind of deals. I went back to the drawing board, and then I structured and positioned these deals in a manner that the person in front of me who is doing this deal would get a promotion in his next appraisal. And I never said this explicitly, and one should never say this explicitly. But in every single negotiation that I went to, I ensured that deal is positioned in a manner that the person would get an appraisal. The result of that, boy, we did some deals. I'm sure you must have bought a Coke, Snickers, Pepsi, Colgate, Agarbatti, whatnot with Paytm cashback coupons. And they were extremely useful for us during those times. The essence is knowing the person in front of you, whether that is your enemy, your potential life partner, your business partner, your customer, is critical. Is critical for success, right? Now, let's talk about another story, right? I'm sure you guys must have heard about Romans, right? Haven't you? I'm not sure you would have heard about Hannibal or Carthage. Uh, Hannibal was one of the boldest military strategists of all times. That is what I believe personally. Once he took elephants across the Alp mountains to attack the Romans. Uh, and Romans were surprised. They were beaten. They were beaten multiple times at the hands of Hannibals. Even when Hannibal was outnumbered, even then they were beaten by Hannibal. After getting beaten multiple times, they decided not to fight him. Uh, they used to run away when he used to attack. It was not brave. It was not brave. Nothing to be proud of. But they choose not to fight Hannibal when he was strong. When it was futile fighting him, and it was the chance of defeat was like 100%. They kept on avoiding him for years and years. Uh, and then they fought him when he was not young enough, when he was not strong enough, and when they had figured out how his war machinery operates. Hannibal was defeated, Carthage was destroyed, Romans lived, and they lived to write history. And Hannibal and Carthage are not even a footnote. And this happened because Romans decided at that point not to fight Hannibal when they couldn't have won from him. It is important to choose our battles. Even once you have understood your customer, his or her needs, their aspirations, you have to figure out whether it is profitable to address this segment in the long term. In startups, and we call this as product market fit, right? You have to choose a segment. You have to choose the battles you have to fight. You have to choose the potential partner, whether this would go the distance or not. Sometimes being in no relationship is better than being in a bad one, right? Now let's move a step ahead. Imagine you would have identified the needs of your customers. You have also identified whether it is profitable to address this customer in the long term. And now you're looking to blitz scale. In order to blitz scale, you have to communicate your values or the benefits you are providing to the larger masses, right? And you have to do that in the language they understand, right? There is a Buddhist saying, when you meet a swordsman, you draw your sword. You do not recite poetry to someone who is not a poet. Do not recite poetry to someone who's not a poet. I'll give you another example, right? I was working on a venture in logistics space, more like creating Uber for trucks, right? Before this venture, I had no experience of working with truck owners or truck drivers. My only understanding would have been Bollywood, right? Sunny Deol comes to my mind, or I would have given them side while driving. I thought before creating something for them, let me understand them first, right? Ideally, I should have taken a lift from a lane from, let's say, Delhi to Chennai and lived their life just to understand the nuances of how these people live. But this time around, I choose to visit them where you can find them, transport nagars. Every city has transport nagars where you can find truck drivers and truck owners. Roughly 80% of truck owners in India are small fleet owners, which are like less than 3 to 5 trucks, right? And most of them can be found in these transport nagars. These transport nagars are in a deplorable conditions, but that is for some other discussion. So once you meet these truck owners, the first impression is these people are rough, right? But beneath that rough exterior, they're scared. They're scared of people who dress well, who speak well, and especially people who speak English, because maybe they were taken for a ride by people like them in the past, right? So if you are communicating to a segment like this, as if you're communicating to a cred customer, all the best to you. It's not going to happen. See, if you want to do business with these kind of segment, right, they have to trust you. If you want them to trust you, you have to speak in their language, in their dialect. You have to dress like them, right? It is critical, and it will actually help you scale really, really fast. I'll give you an example. Imagine if you're in North India, and if you want to address this segment, right, truck owners, right, you should not be talking to them in English, but you should not be talking to them in Hindi also. You should be talking to them in English, right? The kind of language they converse in. I was in a WhatsApp group of truck owners, and somebody wrote a message, right, in pure Hindi, बहुत ही शुद्ध हिंदी थी, और उसके नीचे एक ट्रक ओनर ने लिखा, भाई हिंदी में बोलो ना क्या कहना चाहते हो. And the guy was not kidding. He's not used to the kind of words you are using, right? मतलब talk to him in the words that he understand. And see, for segment like this, vernacular is critical, right? And that is India for you. You have to reach out to the segment in vernacular, right? The startups, companies which will understand this will unlock value that the rest of us have only scratched at surface. Let's also look at truck drivers. They are even more interesting. So if you want to be friends with a truck driver, you have to speak in their dialect, not vernacular. Vernacular will be suboptimal. Dialect. These people communicate a lot through voice messages on WhatsApp. We chat on WhatsApp, right? These people are driving, so they communicate through voice messages. So if you happen to be in a WhatsApp group for drivers, you will find lots and lots of good morning images. And then somebody sending a voice message to someone, they're replying back with the voice message, they're replying back with the voice message, and so on, right? So essentially, if you want to communicate to a segment like this, you know how to reach out to them. The essence is, it doesn't matter what your segment is, but if you really want to scale fast and you want to communicate your value, your product has to talk to the customers in the language they understand. They have to dress like them, behave like them, and it is supremely critical that we do that, right? So today we discussed 3 principles, which through few of these stories. The first was understanding your customer or understanding your opponent, something which Sun Tzu advised us to do, and I will strongly suggest you do that. The second is choosing the right battles or choosing the right segment, which you can address profitably in the long term, right? Third is while looking to blitz scale, you have to talk in the language that they understand. Do not recite poetry to someone who is not a poet. Right? There are many other principles that could be taken from war and dating and can be applied to blitz scaling and vice versa, in fact. But some other time. Uh, Thanks for having me here.